Right, so let's look at this text, and I'm going to take you through some examples of how to edit for mistakes with count, non-count, nouns and expressions, and singular plural nouns. Let's start at the beginning. The line graph, singular, good, shows the number of air pollution. Aha, we already have a problem. So air pollution is non-count, but the expression the number of is used with count nouns. So in fact, we should use the amount of air pollution. Amount is used with non-count nouns. Okay, so the amount of air pollution in London over the course of approximately 400 years. Overall, there was many more sulfur dioxide than smoke. Well, sulfur dioxide is a chemical, and chemicals are generally non-count. But we have this word here, many, which is used with count. So we need to actually use much. There was much more sulfur dioxide. Okay, much is used with non-count nouns. Okay, so much more sulfur dioxide than smoke in London's air during that time. Though both pollutant, pollutant is a noun, right? Some kind of pollution, pollutant. But notice both, we're talking about two of them, so we need to use plural s, okay? So watch out for that s for plural nouns. Both pollutants experienced a sharp decrease in the 20th century. Okay. There was little sulfur dioxide. Well, sulfur dioxide, as we said, is non-count, and little is used with non-count nouns, so that's good. There was little sulfur dioxide in London's air before the year 1600. Then it began to quickly rise in quantity. Reaching 780 micrograms per cubic meter in the first half of the 18th century. Okay. After a fall during the next 70 years, the level of sulfur dioxide soared again, reaching a peak, highest point, of approximately 900 micrograms, halfway through the 1800s. There was a major fluctuation, up and down, motion, in the last part of the century. And then the air in London saw a huge drop. Well, drop is a count noun, but it's singular. And when you have a singular count noun, you generally need some kind of article. In this case, a huge drop in sulfur dioxide. Okay. So articles are difficult, but please remember that rule. If you have a singular count noun, then you generally need an article like a or the. Okay, so a huge drop in sulfur dioxide with a few deviation. Deviation means like change, but it's count. And we have a few goes with count, but deviation is singular, so we actually need the plural. A few deviations from the trend. Until the total amount, we're talking sulfur dioxide, so amount is correct, non-count, neared 0 micrograms. Even though it's 0, we need the plural s. 0 micrograms towards the end of the millennium. The amount of smokes, well, smoke is non-count, so we don't need plural, smoke. And amount is used with non-count, so that's good. The amount of smoke in London's air followed a similar pattern during the same time, though at much lower levels. From 1575 until the late 1800s, smoke pollution gradually increased, with few changes. Okay, so few is with count nouns and changes is count plural. That's good. To the general trend. The city experienced its highest level of smoke in the later years of that century, at approximately 450 micrograms per cubic meter. Then, like sulfur dioxide, smoke pollution levels declined for the next 100 years, with some extreme fluctuations, good, some, plural, yeah, until there was little or no smoke, so smoke is non-count, little is good, in the air over London by the late 1990s. To conclude, although the resident of London, well, I think residents, people who live there, right? And I don't think there was only one, so we're missing an S there for plural. Although the residents of London breathed in high levels of sulfur dioxide, and to a lesser extent smoke, during the period 1600 to 1900, the city was able to greatly reduce the amount of those kinds of air pollution. So again, we're talking about air pollution, non-count, so amount is correct. Okay, during the 20th century. Right, so there you are. Notice that you have to be careful with certain expressions like the number of or many, that these are used with count, and if you're using non-count, use much or amount of, okay? Be careful of just leaving out a plural S, okay? We mentioned, of course, singular count nouns. You should have some kind of article like a. Yeah, don't use plural with non-count nouns, right? But otherwise, yeah. You can see some of the typical mistakes in this text. So I hope you are able to do the follow-up practice activities. And using this information, I hope you're able to spot some mistakes and fix them. And also in your own writing. Good luck.